I came in 58. That I was walking by the station. I was laid off at the time, and I knew one of the firemen that was in there. And he said to stop by down there at night that they're getting the volunteers going. 'Cause Stillwater didn't have volunteers until 56 was when they organized.
Awesome, awesome day. So to start it off, we're going to have Mayor Kozlowski say a couple of words here.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How are y'all doing today? Well, per usual, I have to thank our local Chamber of Commerce for the beautiful weather this afternoon. Couldn't ask for a better day for all of this. It's great to see everybody here supporting our department and recognizing the history that comes with 150 years of service to our community. It's absolutely amazing. It's these people in our department, in our fire department, and public safety, but really what I'm more envious about with our fire department is the camaraderie that these men and women have with one another. It's such a spectacularly fun group of people that care deeply about each other and deeply about our community. And it's something that I know exists in probably every firehouse across the country or across the world. But I think being in Stillwater and being a smaller community in a smaller town and in a one department or one station town, I think just brings everybody kind of closer together, and just seeing how they all interact with each other and care about each other and care about us it always warms my heart. So kudos to you all. I appreciate you all more than I think anyone would ever imagine. But the one thing that you realize with public safety it's actually kind of hard for me to talk about, but I'll never forget when my 6-month-old daughter stopped breathing in her crib. And I had just left the house, and Rachel had called 911 and had started CPR, and then was able to call me. And we had just moved back to Stillwater. And at the time, we weren't sure that Stillwater was going to be our forever spot. We didn't know where we were going to go. We knew we had a young baby and we needed grandparents, and grandparents were here. And that drive back to my house without knowing how my daughter was is probably the most heart-wrenching thing you can imagine. And that idea, I mean, seeing the fire trucks there, I think there were 2 fire trucks there for sure. There were a couple of our squad cars there. There was an ambulance there. And your heart just sinks, right? And then I walk in the front door, and Amelia is just kind of sitting up on one of our firefighters' laps. He's got a little oxygen over her. She's giggling. He's all smiles. And, like, everything is wonderful. And you go, ah. And then you realize these people are doing this every single day. Like, at your very worst moment, the speed that they showed up, I mean, it was like 2 minutes, and it was like half of Stillwater was at our house to take care of our young daughter. And that's special in this community. I know in every big city, I mean, we've got firefighters that care coast to coast, but our ability to respond and treat everybody like family is certainly unique here, I believe. And I think our people are absolutely the best. And so thank you all for your history, for your service, for the generational history we have with a lot of the names of our firefighters, the Glaziers, the Bells, the Peltiers. Who else did I miss? The Junkers, right? Right. I mean, we've got this generational thing going on that's been going on since the inception of our fire department. That's just really special. So thank you all. And with that, I'll introduce our chief, Stu Glazier.
Thank you, Mayor. And thanks, everybody, for coming out today. This is outstanding. I'm a little bit overwhelmed. I did not expect to be here at 150th anniversary, but this is a pretty exciting time for our department. Obviously, you heard from Mayor Kozlowski. We have several other council members here. Councilmember Junker. Thanks. All right. Councilmember Polina. Councilmember Odebrecht is also here somewhere in the audience. We have Senator Karen Housley as well. She's right there. So lots of dignitaries and people here. So thank you for coming. Thank you to the retirees for coming. Again, a lot of this stuff happened because of you. We're the current members of the department, but we followed in your footsteps. So I just want to make sure that we recognize you as well. Also want to recognize the Chamber of Commerce because they were the ones who reached out pretty early on and said, hey, do you want to do a ribbon cutting? And I'm like, well, sure, I suppose we could do that. I've never done that before, but it's not like we're a new business. We're 150 years old, so, but it's pretty cool. It's a pretty momentous day. As we sit here today, and this is a day of excitement and celebration for us, I just want to take a minute and just take a moment of silence here. We've had a lot of tragedy in our country. We had Buffalo, New York. We had Uvalde, Texas, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and there was 12 other shootings over the course of Memorial Day. And so I just think, out of respect for all these individuals, all these innocent victims, that we just take one moment of silence for them. Thank you. One of the things I'd like to do, because we're with a ton of tradition in the fire service, if we could just turn to the right, look at the flag, and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So 150 years, this is probably, one of the most momentous things you have in your career, going through some of these anniversaries. June 3rd, 1872 is probably the second most important day of the history of our fire department. The first was May 28th, 1872, when the council actually approved by unanimous vote to create the fire department. And so June 3rd was the actual first meeting of the organization of what was then determined to be Stillwater Steam Engine Company Number 1. That was the name that they gave it. And they decided what uniforms they wanted to wear. They appointed a chief engineer, an assistant chief engineer, and 92 people registered that day to be on the fire department. So a little bit more than we have today. We have about 34 members today. So people stood up, they signed their name on the roster and said, I want to be a part of this organization. And so on June 3rd, everything started to happen, and we moved forward from then. So, never underestimate what a group of concerned citizens can come up with, because they were the ones that came forward, said the city needed a fire department. They put together the organization, went to the council, and the council made it happen. So very cool for us to do that, and a lot of history there in the last 150 years. So originally, the fire department obviously was designed to protect our community and citizens from the ravages of fire. That's what it was designed to do. But over the course of 150 years, we have transformed into an all-hazards agency. We respond to all sorts of different things. We do technical rescue, high-level and high-angle rope rescue, dive and water rescue. We do EMS and medical support for our community. We do code compliance and fire prevention and life safety as well. So we do CPR training, we do children's programs, we do senior citizen programs, all sorts of stuff. So we don't just put out fires. And as of today, we have responded to over 940 calls by June 3rd of this year. So we continue to get busier and busier as we move forward in our community. So over the course of, I guess, the beginning of the year here, lots of stuff has happened. There's been an outpouring of support for the fire department. So there's a few things here that I just want to recognize, a few people that I want to recognize. One of them is Randy Redunds. He is one of our local artists here. I spoke with Randy, probably a year ago. A little over a year ago, I probably reached out to Randy and said, hey, the 150th is coming up. Do you think you could come together and put some kind of a commemorative artist print together. And Randy has done that for us. And you'll see that right here. And then after we're done here, you'll have the opportunity, if you'd like to purchase one, they're on the table, and we'll do that after we're done. But Randy came, we met a couple of times, we talked about the history, showed him a few pictures, and he comes up with this outstanding picture of the fire department, basically from inception to where we are today. And so it's pretty cool to see that, and it's very cool to have somebody locally who can do that for you. So thank you, Randy, I really appreciate that. And if you want to come up here for a second. And so one of the things I want to do is we had commemorative challenge coins made, and so I'd like to give one to Randy for his support. Thank you. Thank you. Also, one of the other things that was really cool that just showed up on Facebook about, I don't know, a week ago, I'm not sure. Dale Peterson, where's Dale? Come on up, Dale. So all of a sudden I look on Facebook and he says, hey, I'm making this thing for you and I'll be ready to go on June 3rd. And so Dale shows up today and he made this a plaque for us of the commemorative logo that we created. So here, why don't you grab it? Very cool. So thank you so much for that. I'll give you a...
Thank you, buddy.
That's very cool. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And I know Dale's been a big supporter of the department for a long time. So thank you, Dale. And also another individual I want to recognize would be Chris Lanier and then Jeff Perkins, if they want to come up. Hold it. So again, as we moved into our 150th, one of the things that was brought up was Jeff Perkins does graphic arts in pictures, and he retouches or recolorizes, I don't know how to exactly say that, but old photographs. And so Chris had the idea of having one of our photographs done. This photograph is of the 3rd Street Station with the firefighters in front there with the Silsby steam engine. And then Jeff went and put together the colorization. And maybe you can chat a little bit about how you figure out the colors and how you knew, how to do that. But it's an awesome, awesome website. He does really great work. And he's a local guy who lives right here on Holcomb Street. That's where he grew up, or Oak Street probably was his address. But anyway, local guy. And then Chris has donated this picture to us to the fire department. So thank you. A little bit about what you can do.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out today. Chris is a dear family friend, so I would have done any project for her, and let alone a local project. It combined my love of history and my skills in graphic design. As far as finding the colors go, there's some safe bets as far as red brick buildings in Stillwater, and looking at different departments throughout the years, different fire engines and fire wagons and steam engines throughout the years. And it was really cool to kind of, it's always cool to find color, and it gives a new dimension to the image, and it was really fun to work on. So thank you, Chris, for the opportunity, and thank you to the Stillwater Fire Department for keeping my hometown safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. All right. And then another project that came to light was early on that actually Todd Cockelman, one of our firefighters, approached me, and Todd was approached by Robert Melinda, who works on the lens flare project, which is a history project that you can go through, and it's an application, and you can actually see what was there historically. I'm probably not explaining this exactly the best that I can, but it's an application that you can go through, and so where historical events occurred, it will pop up on your phone, and it will give you the history of that location, where the fire station was, or what the fire was at that address. and you'll be able to see it, and you'll get a little bit of history of how that works. We have QR codes and things. It's ready to go. It's out there online now, and so you'll be able to download that. And as you walk around Stillwater, there's specific spots that you can see from historic fires, like the theater fire that was down, the Opera House fire, I believe it was called, downtown. Some of the fire stations where those locations were, and just some of the history of the fire department and horses and all that kind of stuff. So it's a really, really cool application. So when you come up, you'll be able to grab some of that and be able to download that on your phone and be able to see that as well. So with that, I will move forward, and generally they do a ribbon cutting, but this is a fire department. I don't have any ribbons. That isn't how we do it in here. We uncouple fire hoses, so that's what we do. So what I'd like to do is, if we can have all the retirees that are here, if we could have them come up, and I want you on my left side here. Everybody that's here.
Oh, it gets further every time.
Move on up to the table. Don't be shy. Come on, don't be shy. Come on, guys. Jay, how you doing? Careful. Is this everybody? All right. Awesome. Let's give all these guys a hand. Like I said, they've got hundreds of years of experience here. If I could have the current department come on up here, start going this way, and then all the council members that are here, if they would come up, we'll come up here and we'll uncouple the hose. So, Mayor. I got to run back here. So thank you very much. So what you see on the left here, this hose is all the retirees have signed this hose and their history of when they were here. And on this side, on my right side, this hose is the current members and everybody who has signed that. So very cool. We're trying to maintain our history. Again, like I said, there's lots of historical elements to a fire department, and we're going to continue that on as we go forward. So today we have refreshments for you. We can do tours of the station. You can spend as much time as you want. We'll walk you around or whatnot. We have the prints for sale back here. We have cake and cookies and stuff in the bay when you come in there. And so again, I just want to thank everybody for coming out here today. This is an outstanding turnout, and I'm really glad to be the chief of the Stillwater Fire Department, the birthplace of Minnesota. Nobody else can say that. I'm humbled and honored to be here. So thank you, thank you, thank you.